right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. Right now, you're in Helsinki, and I'm not. So, how has your day been in Helsinki?
No, wonderful. Because it's Helsinki. It's people in Finland are generally nice. There's, yes, I will be careful. Sorry. It's just nice. People are nice here, so it's lovely.
I guess you've also been playing a lot at Helsinki recently. So, is it like becoming like a second home or something like that?
I mean, it's not like that, but for some reason I feel at home here, and that's probably, I don't know, it's something with Stockholm and Helsinki that works. It's kind of, it feels like it feels somehow that Helsinki is more similar to Stockholm than Gothenburg is to Stockholm.
Okay.
I think something with the mentality. There's something like with Eastern Swedish people and Western Finnish people that sort of like, we're similar. We have a similar mentality.
Finland is it's like being home, but a little bit better. So it's just nice to go.
And when we're getting invited to Helsinki or Finland, we come. That's just how it is. There's no reason to say no.
Yeah, why is it a little bit better than home?
Let's not. I think
milk the Finnish.
But let's say that Finland is more, has more acceptance towards our music.
Yeah, like
probably
more prog fans.
True.
Yeah, prog
and
metal. It's a very good country for that.
Yeah. Your new album Memorial is coming out in some days. So how have the reactions been from fans and press and so on?
So far, good. Luckily, no, but people seem to like it, and I'm glad for that. Of course, it's like because I really like the album, so it would be sad if people didn't understand that it's a good album. But it seems like they do, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, it took like around 2 years to write, and we work like we normally do, which is that I start just writing mountains of material, and then Joel comes by and we start going through everything to see what feels right, and from there we just start building songs. We bring in the guys so that they add their touch to it, and we write for ourselves. I think that's it. If we like it, we keep it, and if we don't like it, we don't keep it. There's not really an agenda in what we do. You kind of always are entering the studio with still making changes. It takes a lot of time for the songs to reach their full potential. There's a lot of changes, there's a lot of going back and going forth and throwing away, and so you're never really done until the album is out there, and it's too late to change more.
When we did an interview for Imperial, you mentioned that back then Imperial was you sort of building a foundation upon what you led with Lotus, and where you tried to bring in a little bit more metal elements rather than writing experimental progressive music in that sense. And I feel like in this record, the song Unbreakable especially is pushing that even more forward. So do you feel like this album is sort of building on what you did with Imperial?
I think it does. I think it's sort of like you can really follow the progress from Lotus to Imperial, and from Imperial to Memorial. It's sort of like progressing that way. Yeah, and it's I think like we feel within the progressive metal scene, I think we feel that we will be there. We represent metal. We are in the corner of metal. Like if you watch a SOEN live show, you know that we have metal in close to our hearts. Being a progressive band, we love progressive music, but we're never gonna be like only a technical progressive band. We will always preserve that, like that kind of metal soul or or heart, you know.
In a way, I just see it as a natural progression from Imperial to Memorial. If you look at Lotus to Imperial to Memorial, it's like this. It's just so. It's not so much about experimenting. It's more of like a natural development that is happening. And yeah, you know, the sound is getting a bit more gritty, harder, powerful. But that's just where we are at the moment, you know. So it's just natural that it turns out that way.
I also think that can be taken, just because these 2 tracks that we released are Joel sings a bit grittier, but the album has 10 tracks and they're all different. And we were just looking forward to show this new face of the band. You know, there's something new that we bring to the table, and it's so we're just eager to release those songs, and we did release them first.
Yeah.
It's getting more, I mean, darker. Everything around us is a little bit more like that. It's not so much. It's not time for reflection and you know, being like into yourself. It's more about like stuff is happening right now around us. So I think that reflects in the music a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that also that we just did Atlantis before this album kind of kept us on our toes, and we really we were really eager to play something really heavy, and all of those things connected gave us a much heavier album.
Last time, I think I already asked you about some of the singles at least had grittier vocals, but now that I've listened to the entire album, I sort of come to the conclusion that vocally, it sounds like you did a lot of different things, like on a productional level, and it feels like you're maybe experimenting it a little more, especially with like layered vocals and such. So is there anything you like did differently, or did you work with somebody else when it comes to recording vocals?
No, not particularly, no, but I think I was experimenting more. Yeah, I did. Just for you know, for my own enjoyment, you know. And also because of the songs, you know, the songs they just needed a new expression, a sort of a way. So I had to shape the vocals to fit these songs better. But it's mostly, you know, me experimenting around, you know.
When you like try to experiment, do you purposefully do something, or is it more like a spontaneous thing that you know, try and then end up liking, and then it ends up on the album?
Yeah. I think I'm trying different things, you know, just to see where I'm at. I'm just that's singing is a lot about experimenting, actually. I think singers, if young people that wants to be singers should know that they should just play around with their voices. That's the best way of becoming a good singer, you know. To do weird stuff, unexpected weird stuff with your voice.
Do you actually sing like every day? Like, you know, some people sing also under the shower and they do really weird stuff there, but is that something you do as well?
Yep. I'm very annoying to my surroundings because I sing all the time. I do. You can always hear me sing. I guess, you know, if you're a singer, you just do it because that's, you know, that's the way I solve my. That's, you know, if I'm stressed, I sing. If I feel bad, I sing. If I feel good, I sing. You know, that's it's my expression. It's my way of feeling things.
Yeah.
So
do you sing random stuff or like existing songs actually? Like, is that a way of songwriting?
Oh, I'm terrible. You know, it can be random, but it can also be like I can get stuck with one silly song and I just sing it
I
for like one day,
Yeah.
like it happens. Or like, or I have some idea, a vocal idea, then I sing that, and then I don't know, this is horrible to talk about, but this is true, that how it is.
Yeah.
If you're with me, you have to hear singing. Yeah.
Well, it's a wide lesson, I guess, for anybody who wants to be close to like vocalists in general, because there's a lot of you out there who indeed do that.
It's a good thing, if you wanna live with a vocalist, prepare for some noise, that's just the sense morale.
With the combination of your music and the vocals maybe sounded a little bit bigger in general, but was that also something you tried to do with the production?
In a way, we just want it to be bigger and more powerful, and so we write the music that way and we produce it that way, and so it's the way we want it, and yeah, I don't know, we just do stuff we like. I don't know, it's not so planned.
Yeah. The album also features a duet with Elisa, and at least I had to look this person up because I was clueless, but then I figured out she's like really well known in Italy. So I was wondering how somebody from Sweden found out about her and how she ended up to be on the record.
Yeah, it's we have like an Italian booker that books stuff for us. So they work with Elisa. So when I found out, I had to ask them if they could talk to her, and they did, and for I'm so glad that she said yes. She wanted to work with us, which is fantastic. So it's just, yeah, it's a very big honor to have her on the album, because she's, as you say, she's a huge star in Italy. So she doesn't have to work with a band like SOEN, but I'm so glad she do.
When it comes to like, I don't think you ever had like a duet, maybe I'm wrong, in SOEN music, but do you as a singer have like this sort of gut feeling about others, like whether your voices would blend in, or is it always sort of a risk you take?
Yeah, I haven't thought of that, but it's probably a risk you take. I don't good singers tend to work together,
Yeah.
And we, for example, in this case, we wrote the ballad was written and the duet was written before we got Elisa. But then when she sang it, she just sang it perfectly. So it was just like it after she sang it, it just felt like no one else could have ever sang this song.
Yeah.
That's.
I also really like the opening track of the album, Sincere, and I was wondering if you can talk a little bit about how that song came to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit different in the theme as well, because it's sort of commenting a little bit more of the people, this kind of focus that everyone has on, like, everyone wants to be an influencer, everyone wants to be a YouTuber, and I feel it's, maybe the young people today should just go to a concert instead and experience the magic of being gathered together and sharing an event with a band, and have that kind of magic, instead of just me, my YouTube channel, my followers, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
that's a little bit of a comment on that.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, being a small person, I usually, as a photographer, I don't really I'm not really part of the audience anymore. But when I was at Graspop this year, I also noticed that there's like so many people filming the shows and such. Is that sort of does that bother you as an artist that people are not really living in a moment, but sort of through their phones and not even checking the video afterwards anymore?
It doesn't bother me if someone is taking up their phone and they film maybe 1 or 2 songs because they want to preserve it as a memory to bring home. I understand that it's something. Of course, they should do that. That's great. If you film the whole show without, then I'm not sure you have been watching the show, because then you're gonna be occupied with that instead. So it's nothing I would advise people to do. I would definitely advise people to listen to the show instead and pay full attention, because that's going to be more valuable for them. And also, you have a little bit of a responsibility as a crowd to give, bands don't do this themselves. It's the band and the audience together that creates a magic gig. So it's a little bit of a responsibility you have as an audience to bring energy to the band and to the event.
Yeah.
So and that's hard to do if you're standing with your phone recording all the time.
Well, you mentioned that song has a little bit of a different theme than the rest of the record. I know you don't really like to go in depth about themes, so that it's more open for interpretation, but is there sort of a red thread or something like that present in the album?
Well, maybe on a more general level, the red thread is the conflicts that is around us now. Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and sort of the dark outlook of the world today with the climate crisis, and that kind of things has inspired us a lot on this album. So it's sort of, I would, if you come close to a theme, that would be the theme.
Yeah. Do you feel like having somebody in a band who's from Ukraine, is that also maybe affecting you more than maybe a band who don't really know anybody from there?
Yeah, I have to say it does, because we had Zlatoyar was in the band. He was living in Kiev, and when things really was getting problematic in Kiev, we wanted to bring him to Sweden, and we were able to fly him to Sweden just 1 week before the invasion, and of course it had a huge effect on his life, and it affects us too, as a band.
Well, we didn't perform them yet.
Yeah.
We just want to hold them like a beautiful golden egg when we go after the album is released, because we're going on tour right after the album release, and then we're coming full on with all the new songs and everything.
Yeah.
So the summer festivals has been more old stuff, but also it's beautiful as usual to do the summer festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all year, I think, is something that, we love touring and we love playing our own shows and everything, but of course, being metalheads, the metal festivals give you 40 minutes on stage and then a whole day to walk around and see the bands that you like. So it's a bit of a work and location together.
I got invited to a pop festival in Sweden. I just went there to see. God, I missed metal festivals when I got there. I just immediately came in there and felt like, fuck, I want to go to Wacken now, based on the crowd and the how
the vibe,
the energy. Yeah. So a metal festival is a metal festival, and there's nothing that can change that. It's like nothing can compete.
Yeah, like I think Belgium, where I'm originally from, it's not such a metal country, but like there's always a stereotype about metal as being angry. But then if random people go to grass pop, everyone is always surprised. Like,
oh my god!
People are so nice.
Yeah, but all the festivals, that is the magic of this, right? That we may look angry and have the black clothes and the tattoos, but you never ever see a fight in a festival. Everyone is having a good time, and singing about killing stuff and worshiping Satan, but having the time of their lives.
I guess
Which
that's
is
why, especially European metal
Yeah.
festivals are known all over the world.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. We have a couple of years planned, but
We're gonna be around.
Yeah.
We're here to stay. You know, you won't get rid of SOEN for a while.
but for now we're of course focusing on the shows that we have left as festivals, and especially on the September tour, where to start a new chapter is always exciting and chaotic at the same time, and we want to bring some new elements to our live show and so.
So you're also having already a lot of dates planned. So I guess fans can check where the hell you're going. But if you want to say anything about the production of the show, is there anything you guys are deciding to do differently, or are you just sort of concentrating on the music, sort of as you always do in your shows?
No, we're just gonna go for big show, like powerful show. I think if we learned something during the pandemic, it was this thing that how fantastic it is to have a live show and to share that with the audience. So like I think we will do everything we can to make the show as powerful and emotional as we can, in any way.
Like, I guess you're not, I haven't really noticed because I don't really go inside the audience too much, but I guess you're not really kind of the band that has a lot of mosh pits, or does that depend on the place where you go?
No.
Nah, I mean,
We're more and more getting there. We had some mosh pits
we're not against mosh pits.
lately, and we had in South America.
entice a crowd to do
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try tonight, maybe.
But then you see like a band like Hatebreed, for example, and you realize, okay, that's
This
fucking
is-
awesome. But SOEN is a different thing. I mean, you can go to Hatebreed and you can go to SOEN, and you can enjoy both, but it's gonna be a little bit different. Yeah.
Is that something you miss, or is that?
No, I don't think I ever played in a mosh
In a
pit
mosh pit
band.
band, yeah.
No, I play in headbanging bands, and that's good enough for me.
No, not miss, but I can enjoy it a lot. I can go to that kind of band, like a metalcore concert, and really enjoy it.
Yeah,
But that doesn't mean we have to dip our toes in every jar in the world, Anyway, if someone wants to do a mosh
Mosh
pit,
pit, we're not gonna
go
stop
ahead.
them.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But we'd rather watch it from a safe distance.
Are you planning to include a lot of the new songs, or are there songs on the album that you cannot really play live?
No, but we have this. I mean, since we have like 6 albums now, we still have to bring in some old stuff as well, because so we're gonna play a lot from the new album, but we can't play all, because then that would be everything we would do.
The only thing we could say, I think, is that we are convinced that this is an amazing album, and that's why we released it, and we had the time to do it exactly as we wanted, and these are the notes, rhythms and vocal lines that we chose, and we're really, really happy with it.
All right, I think that's it for my questions, and it's almost time anyway. So do you have any last thoughts you want to share with your fans?
I just want to say, that thank you for being there.